Hey, folks, this is one of the highlights of my day. This is an amazing book, an amazing author. Welcome, Will Richardson. How you doing?
Man, I'm excited to be here with you this morning, Kary. Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, I'll tell you what. We started thinking about this book a while back, and it went through like any book. It went through, some interesting twists and turns, and here we are. How do you feel, man? Like holding a book. First of all, do you have a physical copy on you right now?
No, not yet. I need to get one pretty quick, though.
I'll tell you what, I mean, that's how close we are. We are like brand spanking new. He hasn't even held one, but here we are. It's available on Amazon. I'm going to show people in a second here, but let's talk about this incredible book, More Money, More Fun. In fact, Will, you had a different title, and I'm like, no, 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 no. We need to put the word fun in. Why did you put the
Yes.
word fun in?
Well, when you pointed that out, it's true. It's like it's one of my core values. It's like let's make things fun, even if they're not supposed to be fun, right?
Ah,
Let's make work fun. Let's make everything fun. And you said, dude, we need fun in the title. And I love what you came up with the letters there. That it looks fun. It's the
it
word
is.
fun, and it's fun.
It is, and I'll tell you what, I read this book, I read every single word. Stop following the rules, start trusting your voice, and unlearn everything they taught you about sales. I feel like this book really is 100% your voice because in the book you talk about how maybe you shouldn't have been in sales or you didn't do things the way they teach you. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think when I first got started in sales, it seemed like it was just against everything that's natural for me, right? I was, the training is encouraged to be a bit pushy or aggressive. Don't take no for an answer. Just keep plowing through, no matter what they say. You keep pushing, right? That was more or less kind of the mindset that I observed years and years ago, and I had to become that person, but I didn't really like the guy that I thought I needed to be, right? I was like, I'm not
Mm,
really this person. This isn't fun for me or for them. So yeah, that was what I remember early on.
I'll tell you what, you got a great crowd here. You got, of course, a fantastic YouTube channel, I believe yourself. It's called Will Travels. Amazing. But then you have some people even on LinkedIn, like David Miller is jumping on LinkedIn and he's like, "Hey, I'm glad to be here." We have Tanisha, we have Travis. I know Travis is on our team, man. He's a big fan of you and he's put in a ton of time like getting this book across the line. So our team loves you. And let's talk a little bit about this here. Um, so who is this book for? Like, it sounds like it would be good for anybody in sales.
I think it's for somebody who has gotten started. They've done pretty well, actually. They built their business by doing everything they were taught, right? They're
Mm.
coachable, they apply things, they learn, they work hard. All that's important, right? The hard work is definitely a key ingredient, especially in the beginning. So I think it's for somebody who's frustrated, who's like, I think I could be doing more. I think I could be doing better. It doesn't feel very good. I'm not having fun. I'm doing well, but I'm really not having very much fun. And I want to be more me. I want more authenticity. I'm speaking to the person who doesn't think they can be authentic in their selling role. And I'm here to say that you can. You can be you, and you're going to do much better when you become the best version of yourself. That authenticity piece is a big one.
I believe everybody is in sales. All you need to do is look at a little kid at a shopping market, and he's throwing the cereal on the ground, telling his mom or dad to buy it. Like, we're all in sales. Hey, you should watch this movie. Hey, why? Why should I watch this? And then you go into sales.
True.
The waitress, the waiter, what do you recommend today? Or would you like dessert with that? Like, everybody's in sales. And so I feel like, you know what? Some people think they're good at sales and some people don't, but you just nailed something. You said that when we are authentic, that's when we become the most effective. Did you notice a switch? Like, because I read the book and I'm like, wow, Will probably struggled in sales in the beginning.
Yes.
because you were trying to do all these fancy things, and then you just said, look, I'm going to do it my own way. What do you think?
Well, you know what? Okay, so I just want to comment on something you said about everybody being in sales, and most people would say something like, "Oh, I could never do that. I'm not in sales." No, 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 I'm not in sales. They think of sales as something scary. They think they have to become the guy that I thought I had to be, and nobody wants to be that person, right? I was with a really good friend of mine one time, and we were doing this tour on a boat, and there were like 12 other people, and he was holding court. Everybody on that boat became his friend. And at the end, he's like, hey, whoever wants a beer, just come in at the bar with me afterwards, and I'll buy everybody around. And so the whole boat follows us in there,
What?
and he's making friends with everybody. And what does he say? He's like, oh, I'm not in sales. I could never be in sales. And I was like, dude, that's what it is, right? It's natural.
Influence. He just influenced everyone.
Yeah. And he's like, well, I couldn't ask people for money. It's like, it's not about asking people for money. It's about when something is a natural conclusion, and it's about making them better off. It's not about like just doing something to say, hey, give me some money. That's not it, right? I think that's what people are afraid of. They think it's awkward, and you're just asking for something random that doesn't make any sense. But to answer your question, as soon as I realized that what I was doing was actually helpful to people, and that it wasn't about me pushing, it was about me inspiring them towards a better outcome. I know Dan Sullivan, who we both know and love, has a definition of sales that is something like that, isn't it? I think he says you're helping somebody work towards a better future, something along those lines.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So you're saying that if you really do show up to a relationship, a conversation, and you provide value, then asking for the sale, get this, is just a continuation of the value creation relationship. I mean, I literally get that from your book. Like, in fact, I want to take people to the table of contents because I got this thing brought up here. And to me, it's so impressive. So you basically start out, and I geek out over this stuff, folks. I'm not going to lie. Like, I love a good table of contents because it tells the reader, look, here's where I'm taking you on a journey, and here's the value you're going to get. So you basically start out by saying, look, there has to be a different way. I mean, don't you feel like today, especially with our digital media and all this stuff, like people smell a salesperson who's not in it for the right reasons, don't you think?
Yes, 100%. And a lot of what we're taught, I mean, the buffoonery, if you will, of just like going, and it goes against what people feel it, they smell it. I've heard of the term commission breath, sales breath, all these things.
Really?
People can feel that it feels desperate, and that's the thing. I mean, it's like the whole thing about breaking the rules, right? If something would be uncomfortable for me, a mentor of mine, Tom Lipscomb, has this philosophy. He says, look, if I'm doing something that would make me uncomfortable as me as the salesperson, and or if I was the prospect, then I don't do it, right? That's his encouragement. It's like, look, if it makes you uncomfortable to do it to somebody, then don't do it, because it's not going to be very effective.
Wow. So we all kind of know, like, intuitively something's different. You know what, man, here's what I think. I think sales is confidence too. Like, I can go up, I teach right now a little bit at a university, entrepreneurship and marketing. And I can go up as a bald dude in his 40s. I can go up and I can be really fun and influential by not trying to be cool. Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't go up there and I'm like, I just go up there and I be my fun, like, goofy self, and it works.
Yes.
And I mean, as a professor, you better be selling people, because otherwise they'll just whip out their phone and they'll be distracted. Like, I'm selling their attention.
And you know who you are too. That's the best part, right? You don't have anything to prove. You're not going up there and like, hey, please listen to me, because they can feel that, right? If somebody's like, oh, I hope they listen to me. I need to be cool. I need to get these young college kids to think I'm cool. And you're like, no, man, I'm not doing any of that. I'm just going to be me. And that's the confidence of, you know who you are. And that's the that's the thing. It's like you're not trying to be somebody else, because that's
Yeah.
another thing people can feel. It's like, yeah, you're just taking on this persona, right? And I used to do that. I would take on this persona, but as soon as I let that persona go,
Wow.
at first it was like, well, now what do I do? But really, the answer was just be me, right? Just like you were saying, just be me.
But that persona, and here's what's so powerful about your book. If I'm trying to be a persona or master a technique or adopt a series of paradigms or rules, or what do I lose? I lose the focus of serving the client. Like, I'm not focused on the
Yes.
client. I'm not focused on the client when I'm like, how do I sound? What's my pace? What should I say? Me, 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 me. I'm focused on me.
Yeah.
And Will, I think the reason why you're so good, and let's be honest, you have broken some records. You've done some good stuff. Yeah, you got to that point by what? Like, what is this your process in the book here? I'm going to share the table of contents again. Like, can people achieve those same results if they kind of follow this system, not of selling, but of becoming themselves?
Yes, it's a journey. It's a journey towards that. It's the, it's things like making it easy for the other person, thinking of it from their perspective. And one that I really have learned to appreciate is, and you just alluded to it, Kary, listen authentically, as opposed to
Mhm.
listen. At first, I would ask questions only to put that into the buying process somewhere, right? Like it was
What's
just,
their objections? And then I'll figure it out, and then I'll weave it in, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like you're not even listening, and as opposed to just going there with them and going where they need to go. I mean, yeah, you know how you can help them, and also I would say a big one is knowing where it's not a fit, and think,
Ah,
I might say, "Hey, Kary, you know what you're doing right now, you're doing great. Like, I really don't think I can help you. I think you're doing awesome on your own. I don't think you need a financial advisor," right? I might say. And number one, if that's true, you already know that, right? People already know they don't have to buy anything. It's not new information, but like when we say it, it feels really empowering, actually. When you know it's not a good fit, just say it. And another one is, let them know that it's
mhm.
okay if they don't think it's a good fit, right? As opposed to, I might say something like, Kary, you know what, today we'll get to know each other and see if it's a good fit, both directions, to work to each other with each other, right? Like
Wow.
that's, yeah.
But see, you've framed it. You framed, and that's what you talk about in the book. And by the way, Amy says you have to care. I totally agree.
Yes.
And John Maxwell said it, but he probably stole it from somebody, but who knows? It's all good. I love John Maxwell. He's so good. But he says, that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And it's true. Like, if I think you're selling me products, aren't you? What business industry are you in? Financial?
Financial services. Yeah.
So you know the stereotypes that come to that conversation where people out there are like, oh, they're just trying to sell products because they get commissions and this and that and that. But if I can tell that Will actually cares where my family's financial future is headed, nobody is like, well, you shouldn't have a commission. Like, people are like,
Right.
heck yeah, like, thanks for helping me, Will. I gotta tell a quick story, man. This is a true story. I'm on the phone today with a R&D specialist. Okay. So we're doing some unique stuff in our business where we're exploring technology. I know the guy gets 1/3 of whatever we save, but I am so happy for that because I don't even know what he's doing. It's so hard. He's speaking
Yeah.
the whole language, and I'm like, "Psh, I don't care, you know? Like, is that kind of what you're saying? Like, if you're helping families win financially, they don't mind that you get a commission.
Oh, it's so good. And yeah, and I'm so glad Amy Corbett mentioned that. She's a great friend and colleague of mine, and we actually do a good bit of work together. And the whole idea of caring, and you pointed it out too, Kary, it's that they feel it. It's not something that
Ah,
we say, right? It's something that we show. They can tell by the way that we're listening and how we're engaging with them. And then what you said is so good. What you just said is when the relationship is good, you want to pay that other person, right? A good
yeah,
and I'm the same way myself, right? I love buying things, right? It's another thing Dan Sullivan says. Everybody likes to buy stuff, so let's put them in a position to where they get to buy stuff because they want to, and we're also attracting people that are like us, right? If I'm that way, Kary,
mm.
you're that way, and so you found somebody that's doing a good job, and you want to pay him.
And you want to refer.
Oh yes, yes,
You know what I'm
also
saying?
that.
Right? Like, I
Yes,
mean, do I want to refer somebody who's helping me? Yeah. Like, of
heck yeah.
course. Yeah, like, I'll be a good friend if they have a good experience.
Well, you know what? You know what? Okay, so back to what you said earlier about how we're all in sales. Let's say you just saw the most amazing movie, or
Mm.
you just had a great experience with something. You actually want people to get it.
You be
You're like, hey, you're going to
you
love this, and that
you
actually
become a
makes you look good.
salesperson.
Yeah, because you're saying, "Hey, I'm going to get you in on something," and in making that referral, you're doing it because you believe in it so much that you actually want that for your best friends, right? You want them to have that experience, and that's going to make you look good. That's not selling. That's like it's almost like if it's done really well, you're doing that person a favor by making that connection because you know what a great experience they're going to have.
You just got me thinking, man, blowing my mind here. You just said movie and, some people might like it, some people might not, but, like, The Sound of Freedom was a movie that, talked about human trafficking, and at the end of the movie, I don't know if you know this, Will, but at the end of the movie, it's so powerful. Like, people are, like, blown away about how we can help other people caught up in human trafficking that they literally say, "If you like this movie, open your phone and buy a ticket for somebody."
Ha!
And you and I both know, I won't say whose name it is, but we both know somebody who bought 1,000 tickets. Like,
Wow.
that's crazy, you know,
Yes.
because
Ha.
because he was so impacted by the movie, and all they did was say, "If this movie made sense to you, just buy one." And the guy's like, 1,000 because 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 he wants to, like, well, and, The Chosen did this too, like, I think this you're onto something, man. Like, I think this is becoming a thing where you're right, it's like word of mouth sales. If you do such a good you have to, like, make it easy for people to refer you. What do you think?
Yes, so perfect classic example of making it easy. I mean, that's everywhere throughout the process, right? People are busy, and I go through an example of in the book about I was working with this attorney, and he sent a bunch of stuff, and this was during 2020 with COVID shutdowns here in San Francisco, like everything was closed, right? And he was like, "Oh, just print that and sign it, and then go to FedEx and send it back to me." And I was thinking, well, we would never do that, right? What we would do is we would print it and we would put little sign here stickers on it. Then we would FedEx it, and then we would have an envelope to FedEx it back. And I basically taught the guy that and got him to do it. And he was like, "Yeah, sure, okay." I was like, "Dude, like this is so much better." And it was just something that didn't occur to him. And that's when I've realized just when I'm the buyer that things that I think everybody would do, it's not necessarily the case, right? Little things like you send somebody a calendar invitation when you schedule a meeting so they don't have to go and key it in themselves.
Yes.
It's like if I want to meet with you, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you the calendar invite. It's like all these little things aren't as common as I would have thought.
Wow. You're onto it, man. I'm with you. We just had a team meeting this morning, and I'm like, "Look, here's how subtle this is." I said, "When you send out a meeting, since we have clients all over the world," I said, "Don't just send them a time." I said, "Put in the time zone."
Oh
Because
yes,
you know what I'm saying? Like, that's so subtle, but, like, that little thing, and again, our team is amazing, but that little thing is, like, it saves the person being like, an email back. Is this Central? Or is this Mountain? Or is this London? Like,
yeah.
I'm with you, man. So, I almost feel like we need to call your book more money, more fun, more easy.
I like
Yeah.
that.
But
Easy is good.
I'm just kidding.
Simplicity and simplicity and easiness.
No,
Yes.
I like the title. But let's talk about the book because listen, you know, nothing against anybody else, but like we're honored to be your publisher. Um, I feel like this book is totally you. I feel like it's the colors. You got your wonderful family here. Are you ready to take your sales to the next level and be happier? No, there's no book out there on that where happy and fun is also part of the equation. Why is that true? Why why has sales and fun never been put together?
I think it's because, and by the way, I love working with you, man. You get me, and you brought out the
Oh,
best in me and getting this thing put out there. So I'm
oh
appreciative
man,
and glad we
we're
found each other.
so
Um,
good.
so I think it's because of this. Like, imagine if you're the sales manager and you have 100 people. So I think the fear is that the salespeople aren't going to do the job. They're going to be too timid. Oh, you're not going to ask for the order. You're just going to. And by the way, I did this when I first started. I would go and I would talk about the 49ers, and I would go and I would buy people coffee with money I didn't have, and I would do anything you can imagine except actually talk about what I was supposed to talk about. But that wasn't solved by the next phase of that, where I became aggressive guy, where it's like, Ole Miss football, San Francisco 49ers, and then abruptly something like, hey, what was your income last year? Now transitioning to a financial advisory meeting they didn't know they were having and that they didn't want to have, right? That
Yeah.
wasn't it. Because what I needed to learn was to have the confidence of scheduling that meeting with the intent, with the person knowing that I'm there to talk about the financial advisory stuff, just by setting it that way. And it didn't have to be aggressive. So I
Mm.
think a lot of the people that do the training are worried that people are going to do what I did, right? It's like, oh, we got to make you bold and all that. I think that the key though is it's more about being intentional and having a plan. It's like, hey, Kary, we're going to get together. There's absolutely no expectation on my part that you become a client. You might not. It may be a good fit. It may not be a good fit. I just want to share with you what we're up to, man, because we work with a lot of other entrepreneurs, and I think you might find value in the discussion. Something like that.
Mm.
It's focused on you, and you basically have an out. It's like, hey, this may not be a good fit. I get if you're too busy. I think you'll find it interesting, right? Something like that.
But
To where I
see,
think, yeah.
so good. That's so good. Like, I feel like your book, I feel like people should buy lots of copies, especially business owners, and give them to the salespeople because I don't know what it is, Will, but like, there's so much pressure around sales usually, like quotas and processes and conversion rates. And it's like all this stuff that people like literally get on the phone and the energy is so off. And that's why they're not successful, which then perpetuates the issue. I mean, what do you think about that?
Oh, it's 100% that way. And it's pressure just being driven throughout an organization. So it comes from, let's say, somewhere in that image of the ivory tower, somebody's driving, hey, we got to get results. Sales managers go out there and get better results. And then that goes down to the people that person manages, who then probably manage other people, who then manage the salespeople themselves, right? And so everybody's just hammering on it. And that pressure, it creates a bad outcome for most people, actually.
Wow. Well, listen, I know we're landing the plane here, but a couple quick things. I love even the fact of the Amazon description. Like we put some funny stuff here, and I'm glad you were open to it because you started to write your bio, and you're like, hey, should I talk about that I've been known to jump out of a plane with a parachute, and then you got this line about you know all this funny stuff, and then you're like, just kidding, like it's your personality, man, here, and I think it's you. I think people are going to read this book and be like, wow, this is a plan, this is fresh, no one's talking about it. I know we got like 3 minutes. What do you hope happens? I know, like, on your website you have webinars, you have keynote speaking. What do you hoping happens with this whole book?
Well, it's a good question. I mean, I'd like for the ideas to empower a new generation of salespeople or people that are veterans that want to change, right? I think it can speak to those audiences really well, or to your point, just to help anybody who reads it realize that there's some skills they have that are actually selling, and there's a way to do it and feel good about it. And as far as the speaking and webinars, the hungry sales reps that want more of these ideas and content, that's one audience. And then there's the sales managers who want better. They want more. They want to empower their sales reps to be authentic because they know they'll actually have better results in doing that.
So good. Listen, man, I'm glad that Strategic Coach connected us. I'm glad that, you got people jumping in here. I didn't realize how much sales I have in my life, even though I'm not a salesperson. See there, that's pretty cool. These are good things here. So I feel like this book's really gonna. I think my biggest thing in life is the word free.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wrote a book called Your Secret Name, and my secret name is the word free. And I feel like this book is gonna free people up. Of thinking like I'm not a salesperson. I'm not one of those people. I couldn't be like Will. I couldn't sell things. I couldn't ask for money. And what it's going to do is it's going to give them a new tool, language, and freedom.
Yes, I love that word too, man. And I'm also very grateful we got connected through Strategic Coach.
Yeah. Well, listen, folks, again, get this book, sons, daughters, sales team, people that you're like, look, you need to be you. I know you're not the typical salesperson, and that's a good thing. And play that card and get more money and more fun. Will, thanks so much. It's been an honor to serve as your publisher, and I just feel like this book is going to bring you so much opportunity.
Well, thank you for having me, Kary. This has been great.
All right, take care, everybody. Get some copies. We'll see ya.